Okay, let's take a look at this. So we all know what this is, peach leaf curl. Okay, what's it from? From a fungus. Typically, commercial orchards spray their trees at least 3 times during the dormant season. And they spray often with a mixture of some type of fungicide and oil. And the idea is to kill that bad fungus that causes the damage to the bud. What happens is the bud is damaged by the fungus, and then when that bud pops out, the leaf comes out deformed like this. So, how can we do that without spraying fungicides that are going to kill all fungus, the good ones and the bad ones?
Could you just reiterate what you just said?
Is a result of a fungus. It's a bad fungus. It settles during the moist season, during the dormant season, on the tree, on the bark, on the buds, on the entire tree. So this is not an insect chewing on the leaf now. This is a fungus that occurred months ago when the tree was asleep. It settled on the bud. So so that fungus damaged the bud. So when that bud popped out, everything came out deformed. Okay? So the solution, the chemical-free solution, is with actively aerated compost tea. Okay? Actively aerated compost tea. What we're doing is we're making compost, especially a compost that's got a lot of woody material in it, because it's fungi that break down the woody material. The wider variety of woody material we have in that compost, the wider variety of fungi we're going to have. We make that compost until it's mature. Then we take that compost and we brew tea. How do we brew tea? Actively aerated compost tea. We make a tea bag you could do it in a 5-gallon bucket. You could take an old sock or a nylon stocking, pack it with compost, tie the end in a knot, put it in a bucket of water. Now you need to add a little bit of a food source for all the microbiology that's inside your tea bag. So unsulfured molasses. Why unsulfured? What's sulfur? Fungicide. Sulfur is commonly sprayed on fruit trees. Different fruit trees, some want copper, some want sulfur when you're spraying fungicides. So we don't want to use sulfured molasses, an unsulfured molasses. But the fact is, any simple starch or sugar, if you're making a lot of rice, when you wash your rice, use that water. It's got starch in it. That will feed the microbes in your compost. So then we pump a lot of oxygen through the water. As their microbiology, and in this case in particular the fungi, as they breed, eating that sugar source, then they're going to use up the oxygen. And so what happens, on a large scale, we put a dissolved oxygen meter in the tank, and we pump lots of oxygen in. And we can watch that oxygen level rise. And the moment we put the food source and the tea bag in, the oxygen level starts dropping, even though the pump is pumping away. Because as the microbiology multiply, they're using up the oxygen. When the oxygen drops to a key level, then we stop. And that's usually 24 hours, 24, maybe 30, 36 hours. We stop. It's easier, it happens faster when the temperatures are warmer. So if it's in the cold winter time, you may want to do this indoors. So the temperature has part to play in how quickly the biology will breed. But so we brew up in this tea, this compost tea, the good beneficial fungi. And now we spray them onto the tree. And we get so much good fungi on the tree and on the ground around it that when the bad fungus comes, it's totally outcompeted by the good one. So it can't be there. It says, whoops, wrong neighborhood, see you later, I'm out of here. It just can't be there. So actively aerated compost tea, simple solution. If you are raising worms, if you're doing any vermicomposting, add that vermicompost to your to your compost tea. Take that leachate, that's, if you have one of those flow-through systems like this Wrigley Ranch over here, has a little spout on the bottom, it collects the liquid that drops through. That liquid is going to have a lot of beneficial microbiology. It's also going to have a lot of nutrient in it, but that's not tea. It's not worm tea. It's leachate. And the difference between leachate and tea is this. Leachate has the possibility of containing pathogens because it's not all digested. Once everything is passed through the worm's gut, it's pathogen-free. The pathogen reduction has taken place. The worms do that. But the worms haven't eaten everything inside that bin, and liquid is draining out. That liquid is called leachate. It's got a lot of good stuff in it, but it has the possibility of having some E. coli, maybe some salmonella. So if you spray that on your vegetables or your fruit trees when there's fruit in place, maybe not a good idea. Okay? But use it when you're brewing tea. Use that leachate to water the tree with. Okay?